Wahoo! It is another episode of a Super Cast Brothers. It is me, Jonno, otherwise known as Jonathan, and it is my faithful cohort, Zantok, also known as Lister. Greetings, and we have an exciting episode today where we are going to discuss the Super
Minecraft, the
Mario
movie.
Brothers movie. Get out of here,
What?
Steve.
Oh, okay. Just put
We're
him
gonna
away.
talk about Mario. This guy. This guy
This
shows up in
guy?
it.
This guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Marth.
Mm-hmm. Mar. Yes, indeed. Oh, there we go. There you go. A tutto da dato and all that stuff. You know.
Splatoon.
Excellent. Hopefully, that's a movie in the future too.
God, please.
Yep, yep, yep. But we both watched the Super Mario Brothers movie from Illumination and Nintendo, which released at the time of recording not too long ago. We both saw it
Last
yesterday.
night.
The date. Yeah, precisely.
Like, as
So
far
the
as
feelings are fresh.
this is the one bad thing about how our uploading schedule works, which having our three different types of episodes that we rotate between, is that this episode isn't going up for until about a month, about a month after the movie came out. So it's not really new anymore, sadly. But for us, like, we were really just like, all right, so we're gonna go see the movie pretty much as soon as we can with its release date, and then we're gonna try and record our thoughts about it as soon as we fucking can. Which day later, not too bad.
It works. It works.
Yep.
Couldn't do it the night of because I was wearing this to the movie theater, and I came home with my little snuggly wuggly Mario pajamas and went right to bed.
I mean, I would have done it last night, but I was having popcorn stomach.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah,
I feel
or
that.
you eat too much popcorn and you're just like.
Oh yeah, we went in there. I'm like, no, we are fucking getting the large popcorn. We are getting the fucking large spicy.
Always.
This is always, but especially now. There is no skimping for Mario.
Oh yes.
I've been waiting for this moment for almost 30 fucking years, damn it. We are going to make this the movie experience.
Hell yeah.
So you and Twilight saw it, me and my sister saw it. Prevailing thought. What are we thinking of the Super Mario Brothers movie? Was it good? Was it great? Was it bad?
I mean,
what's the overarching thought?
The critics say it was not good. And to that I say, listen, I get your job. Your job is to look at things from a technical perspective, but y'all are fucking, I don't care about your thoughts. Who the fuck pays attention to the critics on the Mario movie? Sir, they're not the audience for this movie. You know the audience is for this movie? Kids under 10 and adults over 30. Which I fit in one of those categories. You fit in the other.
Yes, precisely. Yeah, I mean it's an Illumination film. There were definitely parts of the film where that comes through.
Yeah.
I mean, especially towards the beginning, in my opinion, you're like, oh, yes, it is for kids. That's fine. You know what? Because if they catered specifically to us, they're not expanding their audience.
Yeah,
they're not making
Mario was never going to be any kind of like dark, serious, gritty, or high stakes plot. It was never going to be that, and it shouldn't be that. It was honestly what I think it should have been. Are there some characters I would like to see have more attention or appear at all? Of course, but I was more impressed by what they did including Foreman Spike. Like, sure, they said in the initial announcement that there was going to be a character named Spike, but it wasn't technically clear if it was supposed to be like Foreman Spike, a Spike enemy from Mario 3, renaming one of the Koopalings to be Spike again, which the original Mario movie did for some reason. I don't know why they renamed one of them to Spike, but they did. They still had Iggy, but they don't just Spike for some reason. Like, okay, whatever. So we didn't know if that was like, or if it was going to be like a specific Koopa Troopa or whatever. But I was just like, hell yes, Florence Mike, give me the Wrecking Crew reference, give me all the fucking references, and they fucking did.
Many and varied, yes. Oh my god, it was pretty much sensory overload. I mean, I will concede to the
I
critics. Was
I
it
I feel like I need to see it a second time because I was definitely half paying attention to the movie and half looking at references.
agreed? Agreed. I was looking. I knew going into it. People were like, "Oh, there's so many references to the movie," so my eyes were everywhere.
Of course there are.
Um, yeah, yeah. I will concede to the critics. You know, it's light on plot that is including compared to other kids movies. But what is Mario? Mario was
He's a
man
simple
runs
guy.
on girders and jumps over monkey and stuff. It's light fare. We don't tend to get plot heavy Mario games. When we do, they're amazing RPGs, sure. Or oddly enough, like courtroom scenes in Sunshine, uh, or Galaxy as well. But this dilutes it down to what Mario is usually about.
Yeah,
It's
they
it's yeah
easily could make a
more.
higher brow Mario movie plot. Sure,
Hmm.
absolutely. I don't
Hmm.
think it'd be strictly speaking that difficult, but the more and more serious you take it, the farther away from Mario it gets, especially on the introduction movie. Like this
Hmm.
is
Hmm.
Mario's origins.
Yeah, yeah.
We're not
Later
gonna
on,
get Mario Galaxy or Superstar Saga. Those aren't
hmm
happening. Maybe
no,
eventually we might
hmm
get the Beanbag Kingdom. Hard doubt, but
you
the
wish.
first movie, no fucking
Hmm.
way.
Hmm. Yeah, and the more you delve into an extreme plot, or arguably even much of any plot, it's skewing away from the target audience as well,
Yeah,
which again is children. Um, so again, I understand the critical point of view. These people know what they're talking about. I'm not going to be the kind of person that says they don't know what they're talking about. They don't have they have a profession for a reason. I think that the profession, to an extent, is important. Also, self defense to myself as somebody who makes money off of being a music critic. However, um,
so
there are areas like
some
yeah.
media is not for critics. It's just
Hmm.
not.
This is for children and their parents who are extreme fans, generally speaking, of
Yeah.
Mario.
Yes.
Um, and then people who,
Or the
yeah,
30-year-olds who don't have children and never will.
thank God. you know, um, yeah, I feel you. I feel you. So that's where I stand there. Also, there have been celebrated kids films like Madagascar or
Yeah.
whatever else that have
Shrek.
similar scores. Hmm.
Ice. I
Hmm.
think Ice Age is a really good kids movie.
Agreed. Agreed. Yeah, so it's totally objective, but I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I thought it was really great. If I were trying to give it a fair score, let's say like a 7. For me though, um, more like a 9. For me, more like a 9.
I don't
Out of
honestly. I didn't
10.
even think about scores at all. That
Hmm. Hmm.
what I would say instead of like there's really only one scene in the whole movie. I guess not. I'll say that there were two parts of the movie that felt a little bit off to me. Only really two. One
Hmm.
was when Peach comes back to the Mushroom Kingdom and she's just like, they took or Mario's gone, and everyone's just like, oh my god! It's like they don't know who Mario is. When they asked you who is this guy, you said nobody important. They don't.
Hmm.
That
Hmm.
part lost me a little. But then also, I'm sorry, Jack Black. I really am. Your musical number, I didn't need that. I'm sorry, I didn't need it. I know you're so proud of it. He wrote it himself, apparently, but it was a little. Yeah, that was a little bit cringy to me. It's like, all right, can we dial this back? I don't think we needed the 30 seconds of peaches. Like if they ended on like the third or fourth peaches or something, maybe, and he got interrupted at that point, I think it would have been a lot better. But the
Hmm.
peach is like, all right, no. Other than that, I fucking loved it. It was just those two
Hmm.
bits. I was just like, mm.
Probably to no surprise, I was invested in the Jack Black number.
Oh, I
Um,
figured you probably appreciate the musical number more than I did.
Yep, yep. The peach, yeah, I caught on to that too. Yeah, yeah. Just little tiny nitpicks, like I maybe thought
Yeah,
the dog scene at the beginning went on a little too long.
that's
It's like,
also fair.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Other than that, it's like, it's like, why is this dog so mad?
The
He can still
dog
eat the bone.
scene, the dog scene was the most what's the company? Illumination. It was the most illumination
Mm-hmm.
part of the movie, in my opinion, was the dog scene.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
all right,
yeah.
was this a
Oh,
cutscene from The Secret Life of Pets too?
I was gonna say they copy pasted the dog from that movie, and we're like,
Did
hey,
they? Because I
it
saw the
looks
first, I
the
saw the
same.
first Secret Life of Pets, and I don't
Mm-hmm,
remember any of the dogs looking like that dog, but they probably did
mm-hmm.
use the same style.
Yeah, yeah, the same style. Yeah, um, yeah, and I mean, props to Illumination for coming through on this, because most of us, I think it's fair to say, most longtime Nintendo fans did not have hope for this movie when they said Illumination was making it.
True. When they said Illumination was making it, we were just like, oh, okay,
The
Minions
Minions
people,
people,
and
huh?
that's what and they've made more than just Minion stuff, but that's what people associate Illumination with is Minions.
Mm-hmm. Uh,
Take what you
a
will
motion
about
picture
Minions, about
knockoff of
that.
Rabbids,
Yeah,
at the very
like
least.
in full honesty, I thought the first Despicable Me movie was really good. I enjoyed it.
Me too. Me too.
Despicable
Me
Me
too.
2, less so, but still not bad. The Minions movie overall was just like, alright,
Did you watch
this
it?
is dumb. I have seen it. Actually, I have seen it.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I didn't really want to, but it was a thing. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it's really hard making a movie where your main characters don't speak in an intelligible language.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Eh.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then again, Secret Life of Pets, it was, I think, generic. I think
Mm-hmm.
generic is
Mm-hmm.
what I've used for that. I'm pretty sure I've seen that exact same movie back in the 90s more than once, probably.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
rabbit was the best part of it. I never didn't see Secret Life of Pets 2, and I didn't see Sing 1 or Sing 2 because I'm not the target audience for those.
Yeah, I think collectively as a brand, besides the initials Despicable Me with Gru and all
Yeah.
that, my critique of Illumination as a whole, their entire work so far, is that it feels generic and lowbrow. Like very generic, very lowbrow. There is an audience for that. It is
Kids.
kids who have not developed a frontal lobe to speak of almost at all.
Oof.
Like it's not great.
Again, I
Like
would like to defend Despicable Me 1 because that movie
me
was
too.
great.
Me too. Me too. Me putting myself into the shoes that I wore as a child. I know that by about 10, I would not appreciate those movies a whole lot.
Yeah, that's fair.
Um,
Earlier
so,
companies made the same thing but better.
Funnily enough, I think Illumination, the critique that people share, like what I just did, a little pointedly probably, they're kind of like the Ubisoft of movies.
Oof.
A
Ow.
little bit, a little bit. But Ubisoft has a better track record. They've been around much longer, given. They've made great things, and they've made things too many times in a row.
When was their last
Assassin's
great
Creed.
thing? Okay, fair.
I would say Odyssey if you're into Assassin's Creed, which wasn't that long ago.
Odyssey was great.
And Rayman Legends. And Mario and Rabbids is actually great. Both Mario and Rabbids are great. Next thing you know, I mean, that's fine because Mario 2, the movie, Mario Movie 2, will have a crossover with Minions.
No.
No. Those warp pipes can
Mario
take you
plus
anywhere.
Rabbids 3, however, will have a crossover with Minions.
Oh, God. Somehow that hurts even a little more, probably because it makes less sense.
I mean.
Yeah. But props to Illumination for this. I think Despicable Me is the only thing that it could potentially be pitted against, in my opinion, and it is because of extreme bias towards Mario. This is the best one they've ever made.
I mean. Oh, I thought we were talking about Best Mario, not Best
No,
Illumination movie.
best illumination film. Best
Okay.
illumination film.
All right.
Best Mario movie. I think that's an easy say too. Um,
I
as you
mean,
said, yeah, the '90s one wasn't horrible, but it
I
was
did watch it
horrible for Mario.
recently for the first
Hmm.
time. It's like a week or two ago. I watched it for the first time with a couple people, and my basic thoughts on it were: this is not a bad B science fiction movie,
Hmm.
but it's a terrible Mario movie.
Yeah.
If that movie stripped away all the Mario elements, I think it would have like a niche fan base, and
Hmm.
it would not have the amount of disdain that it has.
Hmm.
It'll just be
True.
a B tier, C tier, 80s or 90s, whatever the fuck it released, science fiction movie. And that would
Yep.
be where it ends up in history.
Yeah.
Not not
Agreed.
not the weird shit that it is.
Yeah, I agree. That the movie. I mean, speaking of being a drooly, spitty little baby, I really loved it when I was a kid. And a lot of it though was infatuation with Mario. I mean, by that time I'd played almost any Mario game that had come out at the time, at least the
Mm-hmm.
mainline ones. And I was like, great, this is Mario, woohoo! I am an idiot, a child. But there's questionable things about it. A
Yeah.
lot of them.
Yeah.
Bowser being a man, Big Bertha being a human woman, Daisy being birthed from an egg.
Daisy and not Peach.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
Why
Uh huh.
was Daisy chosen for the movie, and not Peach? The only reason I think that makes sense to me is they were kind of making Luigi. He was technically more the main character in the movie than Mario was, really.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
we were seeing things more like from what Luigi wanted to do and who he was interacting with, and Peach. Well, at the time that movie was released, we knew shit about Daisy. Like none of the sports games existed. We only knew Daisy from Super Mario Land,
Hmm.
but Peach was more associated with Mario so heavily. So there's like, all right, well, let's have
Yeah.
Luigi with this Daisy character. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Still
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah. Now it still has its niche audience, but it's who's to say the people that really love it? I don't know what their other hobbies are, besides maybe watching that film, uh, because it's not the greatest thing, and it's embarrassing from a Mario standpoint, right? It's like I can believe somebody in the '80s and '90s made that. I can't believe that they made it centered around Mario. Um.
Agreed.
Hmm. So, and that's where a lot of the trepidation came. Mario in general, bright, colorful, funny mustache man, jumps around, wahoo, yay! It makes sense for a kids movie. It always did.
Yeah.
And there was Mario in other media. There was the Super Mario Brothers 3 show, Super Mario Super Show, and that had its audience too. Not every episode was great. Not every episode was bad. It was kind of middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After watching the Mario movie, because I mentioned I was watching it with a few other people, we watched one of the episodes of the Super Show, and holy shit, people watched that. Oh my
Yeah.
god! I don't know if it was
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
I don't know if just the episode I saw was one of the bad ones, but oh
Hmm.
god, the one I saw was the real world bit was they had some I don't know how often they had celebrities just make random appearances, but this girl appeared and they kept getting her dirty or whatever, and that was strange. But
What the
then
fuck?
the animated part of it dealt with a mama birdo who lost her son, and she saw Toad and it's like, oh my god, it's my son. And she brings Toad back to her house, and she's super slobbery with her kisses. And there's like drool always around her mouth. I was like, what is this show? Who who approved this? Who wrote this? Who voice acted this? I feel sorry for everything that happened here. Maybe maybe that was just one of the bad episodes, but it was not good.
Oh my
Holy
god.
crap!
Well, excuse me, princess. Oh,
Uh,
sorry, wrong, horrible 80s show. Um, all that to say, this is definitely the best iteration of Mario
On the big
that's
screen.
outside of video games. Yeah, on the big screen in animation, show, movie, otherwise. Um, Good Lord.
Yes.
What a story in history's Mario's had. But yeah, Miyamoto had said in some post interviews, they waited a long time, even though Mario makes so much sense to make into a movie, because of the initial of that critical response to the '90s
I
Mario.
get it. Yeah, I get it. It makes sense. Like they were kind of scared off from the movie scenes. Like I understand what happened there.
Yeah. But now I'm happy because we have a great first movie. It was exactly what it needed to be, streamlined into. There's Mario, there's Luigi, Peach, and Bowser. Bada bing, bada boom. Throw Donkey Kong in there. Have that initial plot. I mean, Bowser and chasing Peach and Mario chasing Bowser. That's diluted down. That is what Mario is. Period.
Yeah.
And they did it. They did it. They made a simple thing into a nice, great, simple movie.
Yes.
Which I greatly enjoyed.
Something else I want to go over before we go into like the main meat of the movie, and I'm sure we'll get into all the fuck ton of references. But one of the things you mentioned, you said like it was a big. We all had a big trepidation when it was learned that Illumination was going to make the movie. We did. We all did. But then later on we got the trailer, and we were all just like, "This looks fucking good. This looks amazing. I love it. Everything about this is great, except for one thing."
Chris Pratt.
But
what a cool guy.
but hang on.
Yeah.
Well, at the time, we only had one trailer, and trailers, things always change from the trailers to the movie. Sometimes they put things in the trailers that they know aren't going to be there, but they want the audience to see and kind of get interested in. Sometimes lines change or get re-recorded. But from the trailer, and then the same day, they also revealed who the main cast was going to be, with Chris Pratt, Anya Taylor-Joy, Jack Black, Keegan-Michael Key, and several others whose names. Those are and Seth Rogen. Those are the only names that I remember offhand. Charlie Day, thank you. I don't know him as well. But for the most part, the internet was very on board with the cast. There were only a couple names that I ever saw people really like kind of squinting at. Chris Pratt obviously was the big one. Some people were unsure about Jack Black. There were people unsure about Charlie Day. I don't think very many though. And then Seth Rogen. Seth Rogen drew some attention. People were just like, Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong? What? But it was really always Chris Pratt. That was the big sticking point. But now, movie's out. What's the verdict? How did they all sound? Chris's Mario included.
I thought Chris's Mario was fine.
Yeah.
Borderline good. I think. Yeah. What? Sorry.
I was going to say, like, if I didn't know it was Chris Pratt, I don't know if I would have recognized him. Knowing it, it's like I could definitely hear him in some parts. And I could hear fucking Seth Rogen. But I don't think I would not have guessed Jack Black if I didn't know it was him. Or I would not have guessed fucking Keegan-Michael Key.
Yeah. For all of the controversy that came around the choice of Chris Pratt for Mario, and part of it I think is Chris Pratt is so ubiquitous now in movies. In Guardians,
and he seems to be playing a lot of the same kind of thing.
He's gonna be Garfield in the Nickelodeon reboot of Garfield.
I'm not gonna watch it.
I'll probably watch a few episodes just to fulfill the quota and see where we go from there. Can't be worse than Tale of Two Kitties anyway, or can it? I doubt it can.
I didn't even say that.
I did.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. I've gotten over the trauma over the years, but Garfield and I have a good rapport again, as you know very, very well. It's on the Smashtopia wiki, by the way. All said. I don't think he did a bad job. Yeah, I mean, you can hear him in parts. I did hear Jack Black in a few parts, especially his Peaches theme song.
Yeah, the music, the little musical number is where I feel like he was most recognizable. But to be fair, he was singing. And I think it's a lot more... I don't know, but I feel like it's a lot more difficult to hide your natural voice when you're singing a part of a movie.
True. like the Rugrats theme. Like I knew Tommy Pickles was singing when he was singing. It was obviously Tommy. I don't know where that came from. I understand what you're saying though, and I
You
actually
gotta
would
work
agree.
on your jokes, man.
Yeah, he
You got 4 seasons, and your quality is just not getting better.
you've known me for how long now? When has it ever gotten
Too
better?
long.
Yeah, yeah. A baby's got to do what a baby's got to do, and this baby's going to keep on talking about the Mario movie. Chris wasn't bad, point blank. And they explained it too. I mean, cheekily enough at the start of the movie, they brought back in the Super Show rap for their commercial, Mario Brothers Plumbing, and then pulled back. They were in the Punch Out Pizzeria watching the
Love
commercial.
that.
Yep,
I
me
didn't even
too.
realize it was Punch Up Pizzeria at first. Like I saw all the portraits of the Punch Up characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, hey, look! I think I saw. I think it was Glass Joe I saw first, and then I saw Bear
Mm-hmm.
Hugger and a couple others. I was just like, oh shit, Punch Out characters. And then later on, I was like, Punch Up Pizzeria. Oh, I get it
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
That's why they're
yeah.
there.
I saw Punch Out Pizzeria in the end scene as well. I didn't realize until
Yeah.
then. But I did see the portraits and the DK arcade machine that Jumpman was
Jumpman.
playing,
Yes.
voiced by Charles Martinet. And Mario and Luigi were talking at the beginning. Chris Pratt and Charlie Day, like, do you think the accents we had in the commercial were a bit much? And Jumpman turns around, it's like, oh, I think it was just fine.
There was also with those portraits, the ducks from Duck Hunt were up there. I was like, I wasn't expecting a fucking Duck Hunt reference, nor was I expecting it 3 times in the movie.
Nope. Good times indeed. But seeing the opening sequence play out that way, as well as with Bowser and the penguins at the beginning,
Yeah,
I was like, okay, I'm locked and loaded in here. This is going to be a good, entertaining movie.
yeah.
So right from the get go, they caught me. I was like, okay, let's just give this a whirl and see what's going on. The other voice actors, I thought Anya Taylor-Joy was great as Peach. Peach in general came across really well. I thought she was a really, really strong character, without falling to the trope of being a really strong character.
Yeah.
If that's yes, they did a good job with her.
We also got to see Peach's origins, which was a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, and there's some hints in there. So it's like, there's some stuff we don't know. What could be happening with this? It's all right, that's something they plan on answering.
It's something they could bring into the next movie or a movie.
Yeah,
they very well damn could. Where she's a human
Super
entering the Mushroom
Princess
Kingdom as a
Peach.
baby. Yeah, yeah. They can right all their wrongs with the themes of that game, if you will. Miyamoto had always said he wanted Peach to be playable in the first Mario, Super Mario Brothers game. She ultimately became playable in 2/USA first. This is recent.
I know he made I know there's an interview where he said he wanted to make Peach a strong character, but I don't know how she could be playable in the original Mario game. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
I'm not sure either. Without the game changing so much, I'm just quoting.
Yeah. And let's be real, she was only playable in Mario 2 because it's a reskin of Doki Doki Panic.
Yep. Miyamoto had claimed, though, and I don't know if this is a loaded statement or not, but he did claim he had always intended for Peach to be a strong character and a character people can look up to.
Yeah.
And now, given the times that he is developing the story, on without hardware limitations, especially, he was able to do so. So I appreciate that. He and I think that this is one of the best Miyamoto creations in a while.
Yeah.
In a while. He obviously poured his spirit in there. I think as Nintendo's main advisor, a co-producer / co-director on the movie.
Creative fellow.
He probably was responsible for a shit ton of the references we see in the movie. probably getting Martinet in the door and making sure he gets referenced. As the creative fellow from Nintendo, we've tussled over the years, Miyamoto and us, primarily over the Paper Mario series, although there were others as well. But I will give him, yeah, indeed. Chris Pratt played a lot of Sticker Star get into the role of Mario too. I will give him this. He did an excellent job here.
Yeah.
You could tell that probably this is where the majority of his blood, sweat, and tears went into for the last several years. This movie and probably the development of Super Nintendo World.
Yeah.
And if that's where his passions lie now, so be it, because he did a fucking great job.
I gotta wonder, just like, how much material Nintendo gave Illumination to be like, all right, here's your research notes. Like, here's the games, here's some footage of stuff. Play them, watch them, do all this. Because some of the references in there were just like, did you expect to see fucking Discoon? I didn't expect to see Discoon.
No.
That would not have been on my fucking bingo card. Holy shit.
Indeed. That was amazing, a Discoon store. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I agree. I think that Nintendo had, like, as it should be. They held Illumination's hand through the creation of this movie. And
I mean,
vice versa.
Nintendo holds anybody's hand when it comes to their IP, especially Mario. If you don't have the mustache in just the right shape, they'll make you go back and redo it.
That's a real story. I don't remember from where. But
I don't remember what it's from either. I want to say it was like, what, from one of the Olympic Games, maybe?
Possibly so. They're like, yeah, Sega does do what Nintendo don't they? And they didn't do a good job on his mustache.
They also stopped making consoles.
Yeah. Shame. Damn shame. At least Sonic is finally good again with Frontiers on. Anywho.
For now. We've said Sonic is good again a lot.
Many
and then
times.
the next game is just like, right.
Sonic, it's okay. I walk on you every day. It's fine. Sonic movie wasn't bad either. Sonic 1 and 2 were not bad movies.
No, they're actually pretty good. I do think, though, that Jim Carrey carried the fuck out of especially the first one. He carried the fuck out of the first movie.
Agreed. Mario, it's a little more balanced. You know what you're getting into with it. I prefer Mario because I prefer Mario games.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they didn't have a weird toddler in a onesie Sonic design in Mario. God.
Yeah, and Mario can't go back and be in the recent Chippendale movie with an ugly Mario design either.
I was trying to remember which movie that was, and I was thinking DuckTales. I was like, that doesn't sound right.
Pretty close, but no.
I mean, yes.
Yeah. That's good. That was a good movie. It was a good movie. The rest of the voice cast, I thought they did a good job. Even Seth Rogen as DK. Sure, Seth Rogen dressed it up a little bit of controversy right before the movie was released by saying in an interview, it's like, when they wanted me for DK, I was like, are you sure? Because I do not do voices. I am only my own voice. If I voice a character, that character is Seth Rogen.
I remember saying
sure
that.
enough, yeah. Surely enough, I mean, DK was, I think, by far the character that was most indicative of the voice actor. It was Seth Rogen's voice.
Yes.
But I think how they characterized DK as this hot-headed dude, Seth Rogen and his antics made it work. Like, I was not angry about the performance that Seth Rogen gave.
Speaking of hot-headed Donkey Kong, I really, sometimes trailers, they show too much. And if there was one thing I wish the trailers didn't show me that I could have been surprised by the movie, it would have been Fire Donkey Kong.
Oh yeah.
What Donkey Kong the Fire Flower, which is like, oh my god, that's some new wild shit. and it looked
Hmm.
fucking amazing. I loved
It
that
did.
whole
It
scene.
did.
It was so good. I
Hmm.
just wish the trailer didn't spoil that for me.
I agree. I concur. That was still a fucking awesome part of the movie, but yeah, I agree. DK, I love his design in this movie as well. The cross between the classic arcade Donkey Kong and the Donkey Kong Country Donkey Kong, kind
Yeah.
of a
I think there's
amalgamation of
also
both.
some basis on like the old TV show too.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah, the
his new
old
design works well. I feel like I want to keep his current design game wise, just like for the games. But for the
hmm
movie, I thought it was actually a pretty good new look.
agreed. Yeah, I was into it. It's really it's an accessible again like mix up of his two most recognizable styles from the games.
It makes him look more human. Is not really the word I want to go for here, but I feel like it's also just like more easier for him to express emotion in terms of like animation.
Hmm. If he turned out with a look like this in the future, I mean, it would be in games. It would be
Yeah,
less of a dramatic difference than it was when he shifted from arcade DK to Donkey Kong Country DK.
I mean to be
So
fair, you were going
yeah,
from pixels to 2.5D.
yeah, yeah. Well, also fair. I meant in the artwork though.
Mm,
Hmm. It was very deliberate to make Donkey Kong look cooler and whatnot with the '90s like
yeah.
edgy shit. Um, I, I I wouldn't be mad about it, is all I'm saying. But I also like his current design quite a bit. And if it's not broke, don't fix it, I think. Um, yeah, he's a cool looking dude. He looked really good in the movie too. The designs in general. I mean, there was like Mario. I mean, he had I this looked a little weird in the initial posters and stuff. I'm like, this is not
Hmm.
exactly the Mario I'm used to seeing. It's a little more cheruby. It's like they pushed them together just a little more.
Ah,
Hmm. But it works in the movie. It works quite well. Luigi looks one for one pretty much. He looks great. Peach, I like her new design as well. Bowser looks awesome. Yeah.
Bowser, you could also like he was a little bit different from his standard animation
Hmm.
style. Just the way that he was able to like move around and walk. I feel like again with like Donkey Kong, I think it was done to better animate and show emotion with the characters.
Hmm. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Agreed.
Like
Um,
if Cranky Kong was more off of his video game design, we would not have seen him like grabbing at his beard with his feet. That would not have worked
mhm.
with his video game look.
No, it wouldn't have. Cranky Kong is in this movie.
Loved him.
Cranky Kong is in this movie and has a role as a side character that's a little meatier than you would expect.
Yeah.
Being the king of the Jungle Kingdom, uh, loved the characterization of they got the crotchety old dude, sarcasm, all that good stuff down pat pretty well. But he's also very imposing.
Yeah.
He's a strong character in charge of a powerful kingdom. He walks into his courtroom and and summons a large map that is shaped like the Super Mario World world map screen to dictate his battle plans, and it is fabulous.
Yes.
It is awesome.
I
Um,
also got the impression with Cranky Kong that this is just from like some of the looks that he was giving Peach during the fight scene. I think he was always going to give her his army. I think that was
yeah,
always he was always going to do like he just wanted her. He just wanted to see like what she was willing to do.
yeah, I agree. I agree. There is an honor to these Kongs.
Yeah.
Um, I
Also
like
love seeing
the
Diddy and Dixie and Chunky. I just wish we
mhm.
could have seen like Funky. Like that would have been the one of the Kong I would have wanted to see. I thought I saw Swanky at one point.
Swanky is in there. Yeah, he is in there. Funky was there too.
Was he?
Um, he was in the scene where they're driving the carts out of the Jungle Kingdom.
Okay, I didn't see him then.
Hmm. It
I
was
feel
just a
like
brief flash.
I feel like I would have made the Kong at the gates when they first arrived. I would have made that one be Swanky.
Hmm. Yeah, that would have been great. That would have been fun.
Or go for a deep cut and have it be one of the Kongs from uh what is it, King of Swing or
Hmm.
DK Kong or whatever, like Ninja Kong, Sumo Kong, one of those fucking guys.
Oh yeah.
Make that be the
From
door
Jungle
card,
Beat or something. Yeah,
Sumo
that would have
Kong.
been fun. Yeah, that would have been cool. That would have been cool. Yeah, I was trying to figure out who that Kong was.
I think
If
it was
it
a
is
new
a
one.
reference,
It was a new one.
Yeah, and he was rather prominent in those scenes as well, where he came back and helped them build the carts and stuff.
Yeah, which was that
Mm-hmm,
was a cool sequence. I was like,
mm-hmm.
okay, build your. I also thought it was interesting that they put all the Mario Kart stuff with the Kongs. Like the Kongs are all into kart racing. It's like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
is what? Sure,
Yeah,
why
yeah, like
not?
they're getting around jungle japes by speeding like 150 miles an hour through the
Yeah,
fucking woods.
like
Like, oh
I
my
kind of
god.
feel like there was an evolution from the mine carts. That's the only thing that makes sense to
Hmm.
me.
Hmm. And yeah, indeed, I agree. Uh, and I think a sensible way to move forward too. I mean, obviously there'll be a second Mario movie.
Yes.
They set that up pretty well with the post credit final scene. Mm-hmm. Yabba yahoo yahoo, everybody.
So speaking of the post credit scenes, like I knew there was going to be something in the middle and something at the end. What I had
Mm-hmm.
no idea, and I didn't want to look it up. And I told my brother beforehand. It's like, okay, what I want what I want it to be is one of two things. I want it to either be Wario or I want it to be Yoshi. But what I was expecting Rosalina. That was gonna be
Mm-hmm.
that was my guess of where the post credits would hint towards. Would be like, okay, we know there's a Luma in the movie. Rosalina being the tease makes sense. But then we got the tease. It's the Yoshi egg that's hatching in Brooklyn. At the
Mm-hmm.
bottom of the pipes. What's that? What could that mean? I don't know. We'll go more on that later. Because
Mm-hmm.
I do want to discuss like future movies and what they can do.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean that's a healthy reminder. We didn't even really get many minutes into the movie plot itself. We've been talking about the characters.
Yeah.
Really, the only one that we haven't gotten into that was prominent was Toad. I liked him. I liked him.
He was fun.
Uh,
He was fine.
yeah, yeah, he was fine. Keegan Michael Key did a good job. I wouldn't have known it was him
He
had I
was
been
a
told
very
otherwise.
good comic relief character. He was
He
well
was.
used.
And there were elements throughout the movie that hinted like, oh, okay, this could be the Toad that becomes Captain Toad.
I mean, he's got a backpack. He knows how to cook.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And during the mid credits, they played Captain Toad's theme as well when they were.
Hmm.
Yep. Yep. Announcing King of the Cookie. So I was like, oh, that's a nice little nod. Musical motifs. I feel like we should dive into that a little bit too before the plot.
I'll let you take the lead there.
Mm-hmm. Koji Kondo advising the composer from Illumination that they had hired. They made an excellent score. Even the licensed things like I Need a Hero, I didn't mind. It's like, okay, whatever. It's a kid's movie, you got to fill a quota. Bam.
I will
Whatever.
say the licensed music kind of took me out of the moment a few times.
Mm-hmm,
Especially with just like how much of the movie they were using like actual sounds from the Mario games or the music games. Like Fury Bowser's theme was in there.
mm-hmm.
A considerably condensed version of the DK rap was there. And we heard like the classic underground theme being played at one point, and some others. So anytime like the real quote unquote real music was played, I was just like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think it made sense in the beginning. Like they're playing No Sleep Till Brooklyn in Brooklyn. I'm like,
Sure,
okay,
sure.
it's the real world. I concur though, and it's interesting too. This the soundtrack was released on Spotify. They're releasing vinyl versions. It doesn't include these licensed songs from other companies. The real music, but there are elements of the cinematic score that were not present in the movie that would have otherwise gone over those parts.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that they felt they needed to do that. I get that it's kind of the standard. I would have preferred otherwise. It wasn't horrible because they didn't. No licensed music went over like a minute, but yeah, it was a little odd for the most part. All that said, the Koji Kondo compositions were amazing. Um, the I forget the name of the composer who worked with him. Who was the actual primary composer, and Kondo just did the advisory. But they did a really good job. Shout out to the Super Mario Brothers Super Show rap at the beginning, and yeah, the DK rap too. Grant Kirkhope was upset because they did not credit him for writing the song. Apparently, they should fix that. Otherwise, I love that it was included.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't know if the other, like, I know I saw the real music, they were credited properly. I don't know what the I think, unless I'm wrong here, I think all the gaming music was just saying like what game they were from. They didn't say who actually composed it. But I do think they should all like all of those DK Rap, Future Gods, or all of them should actually say like, okay, who composed them as well, because that's still important.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. Even if there was standard it makes sense to just mention the game, whatever.
Yeah,
They can push the envelope a little more in like a recut or whatever. The DVD release at the very least,
yeah,
or whatever. Some of the like musical motifs that I really enjoyed the most, the mix of Jungle Japes and the Donkey Kong Country theme when they entered the Jungle Kingdom was really cool. I loved the callback to Luigi's Mansion when Luigi first enters the Darklands. The whole scene, him shouting, him muttering,
Mario.
Yep, and little tinges of the Luigi's Mansion theme song playing in the background as he's discovering he's gonna get his ass chased by 1,000 dry bones.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
And then he escapes them only to run into a pack of Shy Guys and a Snippet.
Like, that was pretty. That was great too. Who then kidnap him and put him on an air balloon to take him to Bowser.
Which I kept thinking that balloon looked weird. I don't know if that was supposed to be callback to something. I could not figure it out. But that balloon, like, it had this weird little like extra tuft on the end. It's like, what is this supposed to be? It looked.
I think it's supposed to be like a Shy Guy's back of his hood or something.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
But yeah, I mean, that's the initial movie. I mean, Mario and Luigi are looking to fix a water problem in the Brooklyn sewers, fall through a warp pipe. Mario ends up in the Mushroom Kingdom and meets Toad, and Luigi ends up in the Darklands, where Bowser's minions reside.
Yeah, and they did a bit of a reversal with like the typical Luigi and Peach roles, where Peach gets kidnapped and Luigi goes on a journey with Mario. But no, this time it's Luigi gets kidnapped and Peach goes with Mario, or rather, Mario goes with Peach. And honestly, like, I saw some people griping. I was like, this makes sense. This makes sense for a movie version, because like the Mario and Luigi we were seeing, it makes a lot more sense for one of them need to rescue the other, as far as instead it's just like, oh, here's this random princess that you don't know, go rescue her. Like, what? I'm gonna go back home with my brother. This shit's weird. I hate mushrooms.
That was funny too. Yeah. It does make more sense here. They established early on Mario's been watching out for Luigi their entire lives. Luigi gets kidnapped. He's going to want to be invested in that.
Yeah.
I also love their callback when Luigi was reminiscing over the times when Mario protected him.
Yes. Baby Luigi appears on screen, and it takes me a couple seconds before my brain catches up and goes like, Baby Luigi's on screen. Wait, Baby Luigi's on screen. What? Wait a minute. Hold up. And then I didn't even consider, not for a second, did I even consider that Baby Luigi on screen means, what if I see Baby Mario? I didn't even think about Baby Mario's existence. And then, Baby Mario's on screen. What? Oh my god.
And to maybe a little lesser degree, a callback to Yoshi's Island DS, Baby Peach appears as well.
Yes, we got to see her orange just a teens, where she fell through a warp pipe as a baby and basically got adopted by all the Toads. And they're just like, we love you, become princess. Like, okay. I don't quite get the logic behind making baby that you took care of your princess. Like, did you have a king before? Was that Toad the king? I'm confused about that part. That didn't make much sense to me, but I'm willing to ride along for the go. I'm willing to just go for it. But I want to know, and I think everyone wants to know, like, where was Peach from then? 'Cause what the hell? Did Peach show up? Did Baby Peach have a tiara on? Because I couldn't quite tell.
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
I don't think so. She may have had a hat, but not a tiara. That reminds me. The one thing that I think could have been a reference and wasn't. I was a little disappointed. The Chancellor Toad that was Peach's advisor could have been Toadsworth.
Yeah, I think that it should have been either Toadsworth or they could have gone for the Chancellor Toad from RPG, which is basically just a green toad
with a mustache.
Yes, I would like to see either of those.
Agreed.
Maybe Toadsworth is the old king, and he's dead now. What if he's Toad's grandpa?
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Yeah, before people say Toadsworth is kind of old news, there was a lot of shit in this movie that was old news, and they brought it back.
Yeah.
Spike. Yeah. It was great. I mean, he was the Mario's Wrecking Crew boss.
He was exactly what I figured he should have been in the movie. When they said Spike's gonna be in the movie, it was like assuming they mean Foreman Spike, then that's their old boss from Wrecking Crew. Like, okay, so I was thinking, like, okay, are we gonna see them doing the construction job, and he's just basically be like, he's just gonna be like a bully. That's what his role is gonna be. And then we saw them like after they quit their job, and that's when they become plumbers. They quit him, and he was a little upset about it. You could tell. I'm assuming he was probably a bully to them when they were still working for him, and that's probably part of what led them to quit. I'm gonna guess. But I think that's pretty much what I would have chosen for him to be like. Like, he's just the small time. He's your high school bully who never got over shit, and then he became a manager, and he's just lording his power over people.
Then towards the end of the movie, he kind of became more like a Flash Thompson-y character.
Yeah.
He was like, I know this Mario. This guy used to work for me. What a hero.
Yeah. Something I had wondered is like how much time they were away from Brooklyn. Because, man, if I was thinking about it partway through, it's like, okay, so they left in the middle of the night to go help the city with the giant flooding problem. Their family, I think, knew that they were leaving, but then they don't come back. And it's clearly been at least a couple days, I would think. I would have assumed they're dead. They drowned. And I was like, oh God, my sons are dead. And then they come back and it's like, and they're fighting a giant turtle. It's like, what? What is happening? Hold up. We were about to hold a funeral. What?
Or at least have the APB out. Yeah, it was initially a little jarring. Suddenly that warp pipe exploded with the Bonsai Bill at the end, and they all got taken back. Yeah. They all got taken back to Brooklyn for the final fight scene with Bowser, which included his entire castle being jettisoned into the middle of Brooklyn. We don't really get to see how these Brooklynites react to it. They just come out. They're like, oh shit, for like 3 seconds. And then Mario and Luigi and Peach are fighting Bowser.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, my gosh. Like, what are the implications going to be in the second Mario film? There has to be something.
What have been the implications of the giant celestial popping out of the Earth's and having his hand sticking out of the ocean in Eternals? There's been nothing from that.
Apparently we're going to get something, but yeah, it's been a while.
We fucking better! I feel like that's a bit of a global thing. Everybody should be aware this giant statue just appeared out of the fucking ocean.
Yeah. Indeed. Yeah, I think in the second movie, it's just going to come down to like their parents and them probably having like a one-off conversation, like, "Oh yeah, remember when you beat the giant turtle in Brooklyn?"
Yeah, I was surprised to see that they'd already moved to the Mushroom Kingdom at the end.
Yeah. they fast forwarded quite a bit.
Yeah.
I'm sure that there's some sort of they're going to have the Mario Brothers family show up in the Mushroom Kingdom or whatever. I wouldn't be surprised if that were a thing.
Well, I think we'll definitely see Brooklyn again in the next one. We'll 100% see Brooklyn again, if only because of the post credits tease. We kind of have to.
Yeah, Yoshi is there.
Yeah,
Yoshi's there. It'll be a good old time. But yeah, what about the meat of the movie, the center of the movie? What are we thinking? What are we feeling?
I mean, sure, there's some parts that probably could have been trimmed up a little bit, but like I just fucking loved just watching it and seeing everything from Mario arriving in the Mushroom Kingdom and him just seeing. I'm just gonna call it Mushroom City because it's a city. All the toads, the whole pipe shenanigan, getting to the castle, trying to sneak past guards, meeting the princess, the training course. Great. Loved seeing that. Then just going to the Jungle Kingdom, meeting with the Kongs. That Smash Brothers fight. Let's call it what it was.
Yeah.
That was a Smash Brothers fight. That's what that was pulled from. A lot of the animations of like the different fight styles, like Mario's jumps or some of his attacks, some of Donkey Kong's attacks, like those are pulled straight out of Smash. I know towards the end where you see Luigi and Mario, they do a jump together. That was Mario and Luigi's jump animations there and the poses that they hold in Smash.
Super Jump Punch.
Yes, because they each have their own distinct pose for that, and it's for Luigi. It's very different from from the typical Mario Brothers jumping pose. And it was the Smash
DK
version.
uses the DK slap.
Yeah, he also rolled forward like his dash attack. He threw a lot of barrels, which aren't Smash, but maybe they should be.
Mario's running animation; those things are very akin to Smash.
Yeah.
He also almost got Star KO'd.
He almost got KO'd a lot.
Yep.
Oh, that scene was so good. And then everybody mocking the cat suit. Apparently, I saw something about like one of the critics was talking about the cat suit. It's like Mario randomly becomes a cat for something. I don't know why he's a cat. I don't know. Cat Mario. It's like, yeah, that's in the games. Look, listen. Okay, I don't expect a critic to play every game, but you're harping on something that is Mario canon, so you're not going to win this one.
I will amend what I said earlier. I won't critique the critics, but I will critique those critics.
Yes.
If you're going to review something, do your research and understand what you're getting into, because the cat suit is a common modern motif. You don't have to go digging into the archives of wikis to figure this out. It is there. It is there, and fuck you.
3D World, well, the game came out several years ago at this point, is still one of the more recent Mario games.
An abundance of 3D World references were in this movie, yeah.
Yes. The clear pipes being a big one.
Clear pipes, the Beatles, the bramble things. There were quite a few. Yeah.
But then we went through from Jungle Kingdom to the giant Mario Kart segment, which when that was happening, it's like, because like I was part of the group assuming it's like, okay, this is probably the finale, them getting to Bowser's Castle, and that's what they said they were going to do. We're going to ride the carts to get to Bowser's Castle. So it's like, wow, we're really at the end already? This feels weird. We shouldn't be at the end yet. And then Blue Shell. Blue Shell. That Koopa just like, funny. I'm going Blue Shell! And he just blows up the track and sends Mario and Donkey Kong seemingly to their deaths.
Did he die as well? I don't think we saw him later on.
I mean, we didn't see him later on, but we didn't see him die. It wasn't on screen, so who knows?
And it's a kids' movie, so yeah.
But they fall in the ocean. Mario saves DK's life. DK's like, oh my god, I still hate you though. I fucking love their whole rivalry. DK's like, you know I let him win, right? Of course I let him win. Like, come on, guys, I let him win. Guys.
And Cranky shows up. He's like, shut the fuck up.
Oh god. But then Unagi. That fucking giant eel from Mario 64 pops up and eats him. It's like, oh,
that was
fuck.
amazing. That was amazing.
Unagi would not have been on my bingo card of things to expect either.
No,
I
no,
would have
not at
guessed
all.
Plussy first.
Mm-hmm. Maybe for the next movie. Good old
Maybe?
Plus. The Unagi showing up was amazing. The whole Rainbow Road segment was surreal to see on
I
on
want
the movie
that
screen.
Rainbow Road in Mario Kart 8.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Speaking of Mario Kart 8, anti-grav drifting, they really went hard
Yep.
into like, hey,
They did their
hey,
fucking
this is
research.
yeah, yeah, they did.
Or
They did.
Miyamoto slapped them until they fixed things.
And
Either
Miyamoto
or.
was like, we need to sell more copies of this game. There's DLC. Birdo, the Birdo Mama from the Super Mario Brothers Super Show is playable now.
No,
That whole cart, the cart sequence is one of my favorites in the entire movie. From where they were building the carts, and it was like a callback to 7 and 8 with the design of designing them. Then Toad shows up with that massive monster truck, was pretty funny.
Fucking loved his monster cart.
Mhm,
Peach has
mhm,
like her standard bike. Mario has the classic frame that he always has.
mhm.
And then Toad just rolls up, just like, yeah, I'm compensating for my height. What about it? You got a problem with that? No? Good. Because I'll run you out the fucking track because I'm Toad, motherfucker. It's like, okay, all right.
Yeah. And on that ramp leaving the Jungle Kingdom, where Mario's like, oh man, we're about to jump off this huge ledge. And Cranky's like, you better speed up then. That's where you get a glimpse of Funky Kong in the background. So if you do go watch it again, you just keep an eye up behind Mario in that scene.
Gotcha.
Rainbow Road was amazing. I will be frank. As a fan, longtime
Jonno.
fan of Mario, yeah, it's confusing, isn't it? We'll sort it out.
Okay.
As a longtime Mario fan, a very longtime Mario fan, I've been a fan of Mario since I was 5 or 6 years old. Almost 30 years of Mario shit in my life, waiting, because when we were kids, what we got with this was the Super Mario Brothers Super Show. Hooray! I will say there were good episodes that I remember, but I don't remember all of them. This is consistent though. There were moments where the sensory overload, were connecting with my inner child watching this movie. I got teary-eyed a few times watching this movie.
Yeah.
And my sister is sitting next to me, staring at me fucking cry at the fucking Mario movie. And I'm like, I'm like trying to turn my head away. I'm like, stop looking at me. Stop it. Stop. And probably the biggest moment for that was when they went on Rainbow Road. I was like, I can't believe I'm watching this right now.
Yeah.
I cannot believe it.
It's like a fever dream in a way.
Yeah.
It's like they're giving us what we wanted.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Which was also funny because we went in there with about, I would say there was like, it wasn't a full house, but it was like halfway full. There were like 40 families.
Our
in
theater
there,
was
right?
pretty full.
Yeah. More full than a lot of recent Marvel movies or John Wick or whatever that was this year. Yeah, it was fairly full. But by the time the last credit scene rolled out with Yoshi at the end, the lights turned on and suddenly it was all of the adults in the room, all the 30-plus-year-old people, and I got I was like,
you got a what?
Yeah, I just laughed a little bit. I was like, yeah, this checks out. We know. But yeah, that it was excellent. And then we get into Unagi, and that was yeah.
And we get to see like Mario and Donkey Kong's like the rivalry is there, but there's respect there now too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. There is and yeah, about midway through that movie where they hit you with that crescendo and Mario and DK have to find their way back to save Peach. And Bowser in his freaking Odyssey wedding costume was amazing.
When Bowser's having his whole big, all right, army, here's the plan. We're going to go to the Mushroom Kingdom. We're going to get ready to fuck him up. And I'm going to just be like, yo, Peach, marry me? And his whole crew was just like, what? Hold up. This has all been for a marriage proposal?
Mm-hmm.
Like that was great. I was like, oh my God, they're doing the wedding thing. And then later on, we see him doing it again. It's like, holy shit, he has the Odyssey wedding hat. Oh God, We are going for the wedding thing.
We are going for the wedding thing. Um, hold on just a moment. I just got a weird little. Okay. Um, it was pretty great, and he was talking to. He was like, "How's the bouquet, sir?" Kamek was there in the movie, by the way, um, with this little
Kamek,
phony
I
Russian
fucking
accent.
loved Kamek's voice. That was so
Mhm.
good.
Yep, 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 yep. Almost like an Arnim Zola kind of thing. Um, yeah, and he which fits. He's a lackey of Bowser's. Um, yeah, it was really good. And he brings Bowser that bouquet of piranha plants. He's like, "How's the bouquet?" It's like, "I think it's great, sire." And they start snapping, and Bowser throws them on the ground and squishes them. It's like, okay, that was good. That was
Yeah.
entertaining. Um, yeah, but then it's this crescendo. You know, Luigi is imprisoned by Bowser, along with Cranky and this freaky Luma child that loves death. I'm like, okay.
I think from what I saw, I think somebody said that was supposed to be like Luma Lee from Galaxy. Apparently they're like a shopkeep or some shit. I'm not sure, but apparently it was an established Luma.
Oh yeah, yeah. I just looked it up. That is correct. That is correct. Um, which is pretty funny because Luma Lee could have gotten out at any time.
Yeah,
He
but they wanted
even
to
got
die
out. Yeah,
when
yeah,
the
yeah.
fucking when the cages are all being lowered in lava, and then they stop and getting pulled up. Luma's just like, no. It's like, you can jump in if you want. Like you can just pop right down there. You have this option.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Fucking loved it though. Luma Lee
Um,
was great.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, goodness gracious. Yeah, they get they you get into the meat of the film. Mario and Donkey Kong have that brief bonding moment with the Unagi and get out of there because DK lights up his last DK barrel and they go flying to Bowser's castle where the final act of the film begins.
Yes.
Bowser and Peach are having their wedding ceremony where Peach has prepared something in her bouquet, which is an ice flower, and says, "I'm not going to marry you, Bowser. You thought you were actually going to. I was actually going to marry you." And Bowser's like, "Kinda."
What Peach
Yeah.
was really doing in that scene, she's telling Bowser he just needs to let it go.
There was like an Elsa vibe with her dress,
Yes.
yeah.
We were
Absolutely.
all thinking it. We're all thinking it. Peach went
Hmm.
frozen.
Yep. Peach went frozen. Bowser got frozen for a
Mm.
fair bit of time. Um, but then when Mario and Donkey Kong get there, they beat the crap out of Bowser's minions, save Luigi, save Cranky, and all the others. Uh, but then Bowser breaks out of his ice, at least his head. At least his head breaks out of the ice. And he announces, "Oh, release the Bonsai Bill and destroy the Mushroom Kingdom." It's his last ditch effort to
Did he
be
say
like, "Screw all of
bonsai
you."
Bill though? Because I didn't hear him say bonsai. I heard him say something else. I mean, it was
I'm not
clearly
sure.
a bonsai Bill, but
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
don't think he actually said bonsai.
Which is weird, but yeah,
I wonder
it was
if they changed the name for like just like a censorship reason or legal or whatever.
possibly, possibly, or I don't know. I
Don't
don't know.
know.
That's not sure. I mean, I know bonsai is a Japanese war cry. I don't know if maybe they thought it would be insensitive to say that. I don't understand why it would be,
Mm-hmm.
since it's still associated with war. But who knows? Who
Yeah.
knows? Um, but all the same, Mario finds out the way to stop the bonsai bill, which was pretty entertaining.
Yes.
So it's just about to hit Peach's castle, and Mario is in his Tanuki suit and slaps it in the eye, and then it whimpers and chases him instead.
It is fucking pissed.
Yep. It's weaving all throughout the Mushroom Kingdom. You go back to like the Mushroom Gorge area that Mario traversed at the beginning. Thank goodness, by the way, they changed out Mario's Mushroom Kingdom, here we come. When he's at the beginning of that, he's like, "Yeah, what's up?"
Bowser called it a bomber bill.
Weird.
Yeah. Why? We don't know.
Oh my god,
But
how can I forget? Yeah, like that happens. Bomber Bill is chasing Mario. Before that, though, the wedding scene: King Bob-omb and King Boo.
yes!
Mm-hmm.
Yes!
Mm-hmm.
Which
Mm-hmm.
was not expecting to see King
No.
Bob and King Boo there. Makes one wonder
No.
what happened to
No.
Goon Boss or Petey
Yep.
Piranha.
Yeah. 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 Only fellow kings were invited, and those were the only ones that Bowser didn't imprison yet, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Goomboss though was a king
Goon
before.
Boss was the king. He's
Mhm.
sometimes called King Goomba or whatever it is.
King Goomba, yeah. The
Yeah,
Goomba King, King Goomba, yeah. Yeah.
whichever.
In Paper Mario, and then they got into 64 DS and they changed it to Goomboss, which I thought was stupid.
Yeah.
But what? Yeah,
It
weird.
might be that King Goomba was a mistranslation. Maybe it was supposed to be Goon Boss, or the other way around.
Could
Maybe
be.
Paper Mario translated it wrong.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Maybe so. Or it was just one of those odd things, kind of like how Miyamoto was like, "Oh no, those are Bowser's kids. Those aren't Bowser's kids. I don't know."
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But it
Which
was a real treat. Yeah.
speaking of things like that with the Koopalings and are they or are they not Bowser's kids? Cranky Kong called Donkey Kong his son,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which Donkey Kong has some complicated history as far as his identity because in the original Donkey Kong games for the arcades, we have Donkey Kong, but then Donkey Kong Country they say, oh no, this is Donkey Kong, that was Cranky Kong, and Cranky Kong is Donkey Kong's grandfather. That's the established lore there, and that DK Jr., who we haven't seen in fucking ever, is Cranky Kong's son, which would then be Donkey Kong's father. But for the movie, they're just like, don't they say Donkey Kong is Cranky Kong's son? It's like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this brings up the questions like, okay, is this Nintendo just saying DK Jr. is Donkey Kong? Or are we erasing DK Jr.? Or is this just a simple thing for the movie and it has no bearings in the games?
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
don't really know. But it is interesting that they said son, when as far as we all knew, DK is the grandson.
Mm-hmm. Maybe I would like to think that maybe we're getting a weird hierarchy where one day that the current DK becomes a new Cranky, and he has a kid that's DK Jr. Something,
Or
something.
yeah, I don't know. Or they'll pull an Odin from Marvel and just be
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh, DK, you thought you were my only son. You're actually my second son. My original
Mm-hmm.
son was Donkey Kong Jr. Don't ask why he's called Junior and you're not. He's a war criminal. And he's coming back to try and take over our entire kingdom, and you have to go fight him. And that's the plot of the Donkey Kong movie. DK has to fight his older brother, DK Jr., and it's confusing.
That would be very funny. However, I need King K. Rool in that movie.
Yes. Maybe
And I do.
Junior. Wait, hold up. Here's the real dumb shit. Here's the real dumbass fuckery dumb shit right here. DK Jr. is the villain for the Donkey Kong movie, but then towards the end, he rips off his suit and it's King K. Rool. It's what K. Rool does.
That's for sure. Oh my! Think of how a K. Rool in this world could play out. It would be so hammy.
Man,
Pulling into the various identities, it would be so
psychotic.
awesome. Uh-huh.
God.
And I would love a Donkey Kong Country movie with these characters. Please do
Supposedly, rumor is there is a Donkey Kong movie in the works, but we don't. But that's just a rumor. So who knows if it's true or not?
that. Mm-hmm.
But I think King K.
With
Rool would be the way to go for a DK movie. It has to be.
Oh, I agree. With the Mario movie, and then maybe they'll actually put them in a game again. With the Mario movie being the top animated launch day ever in countries around the world,
Yeah.
pulling in like mad stacks of cash. Probably it's in the running to be the highest grossing movie of the year, right now anyway, in the first quarter or the second quarter rather. We are going to get more movies from Illumination and Nintendo. Mario is easy to do. They could do more Mario movies, make a Luigi's Mansion movie, a Donkey Kong movie, a Yoshi's Island movie. They could go all sorts of directions, and it won't go stale for a long time.
Yeah. It's like they easily could go Marvel with this. I don't think they will go full Marvel, but I think we are
Mhm.
going to get like a whole series of Mario movies, both just like
Mhm.
Super Mario Bros. 2 or Yoshi's Island,
Mm-hmm.
Donkey Kong Country, Captain Toad. We could
Mm-hmm.
get any of that. There are so many different directions that they could go. Even with like not even taking other Nintendo franchises into account, but just with Mario, there's a lot of moves that they could make just with that.
Wario. Oh my God, Wario
But
Land /
please,
World. Where? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I saw
And
somebody's idea on
Waluigi.
how you could incorporate Wario and Waluigi into these movies.
Mm-hmm.
Because, from the way this movie was established, Wario and Waluigi should be from Brooklyn as well, theoretically, or at least from the human world. But I saw
Mm-hmm.
somebody had the idea of Kamek using magic and like pieces of Mario and Luigi's DNA or whatever, like strands from their mustaches or something, and creates Wario and Waluigi to be their evil counterparts. I was like, you know what? That could work. That could easily work because their origins are completely unknown, and like their true relationship to both each other and Mario and Luigi are in the games are unknown. Some people say they're cousins. Some people say they're just people that don't like the Mario Brothers, so they decided to make similar costumes and terrorize them. We don't
Mm-hmm.
know those origins, so they're pretty freeform what they could do there. I've seen some people say like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, maybe there are also people that are working at Wrecking Crew with Form and Spike, and they're just jealous of the Mario Bros. Success. So they decide, since Mario and Luigi are off in the Mushroom Kingdom now doing who the fuck knows what, they take over their plumbing company and try to ruin their reputation. It's like, you know what? That also works.
Yeah, they're Foreman Spike's sons.
Fuck.
Would work all too well. Um, yeah, I'm all for that. And then ultimately, this catalyzes movies and movies and movies in. Wario and Waluigi are like semi cool with Mario. Bowser's like getting into a place where the games are now, where they all get together for a nice, rousing game of tennis or something.
I was about to say, coming later this year, Mario Tennis.
I love
Bowser
it.
wants to marry Peach again, but this time he has to win a tennis tournament to do it.
There you go. There you go. I would like, a few movies in, like maybe the third Mario movie or whatever, for there to be some overarching villain. Mario and Bowser have to team up. Something like
Yes.
that.
It's
Mm-hmm.
it's the
Mm-hmm.
Olympics and Sonic is there. It's Team Mario versus Team Sonic.
Then somehow it ends up with Mario and Sonic just beating Eggman and Bowser's ass.
Yes.
Instead of, yeah.
Eggman and Bowser go like, why are we doing this why are we playing why am I doing ice skating? I am an evil mad scientist doctor. Why am I doing a pirouette right now?
Mm-hmm.
And Bowser's just like, you know what? You're right. This is demoralizing. Let's fuck
Mm-hmm.
him up.
Mm-hmm. Yep. 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 They can get the same voice actor for Tails, just like they did randomly in the movies too, the
Yes.
Sonic movies.
I'm slight
Yeah.
sidebar to the Sonic movie here. Why is Tails the only one that has his classic voice actor? Like, I'm not saying get rid of his classic voice actor, but why is he the only one?
I don't know.
It's
I don't
it's
know.
odd.
It is odd, and I'm not bashing the celebrity voice acting, especially because I think Idris Elba did amazing as Knuckles. Like, God. But yeah, it is a little bizarre. It is a
Yeah.
little bizarre. Um, Mario and Sonic, that would be like a crazy blockbuster if that ever happened. My gosh. Yeah, and I would like for them to consider other Nintendo franchises too. I think that there just needs to be a line with where this universal collaboration starts, because I think
Yeah.
Illumination can handle the Mario franchise. They could probably do like a Pikmin or an Animal Crossing movie or whatever. But when you get into Zelda or Metroid, I think that's better off in other hands. Like
Yeah.
they
And other
could.
styles. Other styles.
Mm-hmm,
Like,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
can you imagine a Metroid movie done in the exact same animation style as this?
No,
No. It would be bad.
no.
This works for Mario. For Mario, this is perfect. But
Mm-hmm,
this would be terrible for Metroid. This would be terrible for Zelda. I think it would work
mm-hmm,
for Pikmin, as you mentioned. It'd
mm-hmm,
be awful for Fire Emblem. I think Kirby would work. Kirby would be fine.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Splatoon. No, I'm gonna say not for Splatoon either. I think Splatoon would be too weird in this style.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's something I kind of wonder, which I guess we're kind of transitioning over to this for a little bit in terms of like future movies that aren't just Mario. I don't think they count. Are I think they're gonna have to be different styles. They have to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
see a Metroid movie being done like a classic kind of modern anime style, or same thing with Zelda. Zelda or Metroid also could even be live action. They could
Yep.
be
Yep.
Mario. I do think works better animated than live action. Like not even
Agreed.
taking the
Agreed.
old movie into account. I think
Mm-hmm.
Mario is better animated than live action. First of all, there's just so much more you can do, and it would just look weird
Mm-hmm.
otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
Metroid could easily work live action. Maybe not easily. Zelda could easily work live action. I think. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but then you have to also wonder, and you and I know, everybody knows that's watching this. We have to ask this question: are we going to get a connected Nintendo cinematic Nintendo universe, Super Smash Brothers universe? Are we going to get something like that? And I think the hardest question to look at with that is the styles, because can you like let's say for example Sonic movie and Mario movie have a crossover.
Mm-hmm.
Those two characters standing next to each other in the styles that they are currently both in from their movies does not work. That would not
No.
work. It only
Mm-hmm.
works in the Chip and Dale movie because there's all kinds of weird combinations with that. We've seen, Who Framed Roger Rabbit made cartoons, and also Space Jam made cartoons in real world colliding work. But in terms of like having these different styles in a connected world, I don't,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
Mm-hmm.
about that. Some said they'd have to be somehow converted. It's hard to say. I almost feel like as much as I don't want this to be the case, because obviously I want Smash stuff. I don't think we can get huge crossovers like Mario and Link and Pit and Samus. I don't know if that's gonna work movie wise.
Mm-hmm.
Not even taking plot into account, just purely art and animation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And for that reason, I think sadly we're not getting that.
Yeah.
Um, I think we're going to get a really big Mario universe out of it.
Yes.
And it's going to overarch into Yoshi and Donkey Kong and Wario, and it's going to be awesome. But I struggle to see Zelda and Metroid, especially, translating into the style, and that's
Yeah.
an issue for one year. Being besides Pokemon, the other two like major franchises, Fire Emblem as well,
Kirby.
it becomes an issue. And Kirby could maybe work. It'd be a little weird, but
I think Kirby in this particular art style would work. I think Kirby works in this
mm-hmm,
in the
mm-hmm,
Illumination style, but so many
mm-hmm,
other Nintendo franchises would not.
mm-hmm. So what I would like to see instead, because at this juncture, there is probably a way that we're not thinking of that it could work, but at this juncture, I think just developing as much of the Mario franchise as they can out will be good enough. And if they wanted to, they can explore Kirby, they can explore Pikmin, um, anything that kind of fits the style. I
We
think
fit
Nintendo will, yeah, yeah, yeah. What about a Star Fox movie in the style?
in this. I don't think in this style. Not in this style.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think
Mm-hmm.
Star Fox would honestly work well in like the realistic 3D style that kind of like Sonic has.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Star
Mm-hmm.
Fox crew would work well in that style.
And I also think Star Fox is a grittier series than people think at first hand.
Yeah.
There's 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 a lot of shit that it's when you think about it, it's kind of surprising. Nintendo's like, yeah, okay, yeah, Pigma fucking killed James McCloud and framed him and okay, great.
To be fair,
um,
that's more like backstory stuff in the original
mm-hmm,
game.
mm-hmm.
It's not like you
And then gets
see Pigma betraying James on screen.
no, that's true, that's true. Um, there is an excellent sidebar Star Fox fan series called A Fox in Space on YouTube.
Mm.
I forget the name of the person who makes it, Matthew Gafford. Um, and it's kind of a more mature take on Star Fox, and it does delve into um, James's backstory in the most recent episode, and it's kind of a like noir-ish style, like sci-fi western. It's really good. Sidebar, good stuff. Nintendo would never make that. It is very good. But yeah, I think they can take what works. You said Splatoon wouldn't work. I could potentially see them parsing one out anyway, and us maybe cringing at the designs later. They could do a Punch-Out one. This could be a good way to bring back Nintendo's retro franchises. They could do whatever the hell they want now that Mario's been the successful.
Some of the references kind of make you ask the questions like, okay, in universe, Mario has a fucking NES in his bedroom. He has an NES in his bedroom, and he was playing Kid Icarus. And it's like, okay, so Nintendo exists in the Mario universe, but Mario can't be their mascot. So what is? Is it Kid Icarus? Is Pit the mascot of Nintendo in this world? Little Punch-Out exists in Mario's world as the characters in the universe. We know that. So does Duck Hunt, seemingly. Those were there was an R-Wing toy in Mario's bedroom. I think I saw somebody said that they saw a blue Falcon in there as well for F-Zero. So what does this mean? Probably nothing. It means nothing. But if they did do a Punch-Out movie, could you theoretically see Mario in there? Because they're in the same universe. Maybe we'll see. It probably won't be like It'd probably be more like an Easter egg kind of thing. Like you see them at the back in a back booth of the pizzeria, I guess.
Jumpman is the referee, like Mario was the referee in the first Punch-Out.
Giuseppe is the referee.
Can't forget those crab apples. Giuseppe, no.
What?
Yeah, he was a good man.
Okay.
Loved his daughter.
Whatever. So we're talking about like future ideas that we could see at this point. But here's where we have to ask questions now, because we talked about what the post credits was. Post credits, we saw a Yoshi egg being hatched. Assuming that is a tease for let's say the next movie. Let's say like the very next Nintendo movie is going to pull off from that Yoshi egg. What is the movie going to be? What could we expect to see? Because I have basically three basic ideas on what it could be with that Yoshi egg. One, we're adapting Yoshi's Island, the movie or the game, which I'm not really sure how that would work, since we did see Baby Mario and Baby Luigi, assumedly in Brooklyn. I would assume. Maybe I don't know if that would work out too well with that canon being established for the movies. Otherwise, we could go straight to Super Mario World, skipping 2 and 3, and go like, okay, Super Mario World based thing. The Koopalings are here. They have rescued their father, and they are now going to try and get revenge. But now Yoshi is here. And then the only idea I have is basically the same thing as that, just not the Koopalings and Dinosaur Land. It's just like, okay, it's the same plot. Somebody rescues Bowser, but Yoshi is here, and it's just a new plot of something.
Yeah, I can see that. We had a nod to Super Mario World as well. Yoshi itself is a nod to Super Mario
several
World.
nods.
Yeah. Bowser also had that Ludwig von Koopa piano.
Ludwig von Koopa brand piano.
Yeah. It's pretty funny. Nice little nod. It's like, hey, I think I'm gonna name my future son / cohort, maybe not son, the same thing as my piano.
Maybe the Koopalings are all a band.
That would be good. That would be funny. Yeah, future movies. I like the idea of a Super Mario Brothers, a Super Mario World movie. I think that's a sensible way forward. You can even call it Super Mario World.
Yeah,
the Super Mario World movie. I think 3 almost. Yeah, there's a lot that is akin to each other between 3 and World, where they can kind of synthesize it. I think.
Yeah.
2 was Doki Doki Panic at first. I think, in all honesty, as much as I'd like to see Wart, they're probably going to gloss it over.
I could see. I think honestly, Super Mario World 2 Doki Doki Panic movie could work. It's like, hey, you start the plot base to be like, so a lot of people are falling asleep randomly. We don't know how or why they're just like falling asleep in the middle of just walking in the street, and they don't wake up. And some people have been asleep for weeks, and it's crazy, and they can't figure out what's going
Yeah.
on. They're stressing out over it, and then Toad falls asleep.
Hmm.
Luigi falls asleep. Peach falls asleep. And then Mario eventually falls asleep. And all four of them, they're in subcon now, and they're the four protagonists.
Yeah.
And they eventually go to find Wart. Why Wart is making everything fall asleep? Don't know. But maybe then, honestly, I think this would work. This would be a good choice for a second movie plot. And it would be my pitch if we didn't have the Yoshi tease. Because while they're all asleep, nobody's watching Bowser.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's where the Koopalings come in. They rescue Bowser, and now the third movie is an adaptation of Mario 3 / Mario World. That would be like if I was asked to just pitch a trilogy of like pitching part 2 and 3 of a Mario trilogy after seeing this movie and not counting the post credit scene as a thing. That would be my pitch.
Hmm. Hmm. That would be awesome. I agree. That's a concise trilogy, and then we get into like weird territory because then it becomes 64 afterwards.
I don't know if
Yeah.
I don't know if you can adapt 64 very well with the sheer
I don't
amount
think
of
so either.
worlds that you're going through. I
Mhm.
mean, granted, they're not all necessary, but I think 64 would be a lot harder to adapt.
Yeah, and we had elements of 64 in this movie already with the
They were
inaugurating
in Bob on Battlefield. They were there.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
visited Bob
Mm-hmm.
on Battlefield briefly. They visited Toast Arena briefly, and then one of the cloud. I think one of the cloud levels from one of the games. From
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it would look like the design similar to Super Mario Bros. Wii U rather.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Moraine
yeah.
Clouds, I think it's called. It kind of looked like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm. What a nice callback with those two, with Tuscarena and Battlefield
Yeah.
as well. That was pretty neat. When they, yeah, uh, yeah, I don't think 64 would, but Sunshine and Galaxy could
Yeah, Sunshine
pretty
they can
easily.
definitely adapt pretty well. Galaxy would be tougher,
Mm-hmm.
but Sunshine I
Mm-hmm.
think they could. Sunshine also had very few references, if any, in the movie. Like obviously, Galaxy had a throwaway line from Peach hinting towards galaxies. Lumily was their biggest reference.
Mm-hmm.
Mario's 1, 2, 3 had a lot of power ups and worlds and animations shown off. World had the various maps shown, and we also saw the capes in the initial commercial. But
Oh yeah.
Sunshine, apparently there was one store in Brooklyn that had the word shine in its name, but that's all Sunshine had, at least that I've seen anybody mention,
Mm-hmm.
which
Mm-hmm.
was a little surprising. It's like nothing else from Sunshine. And then obviously Odyssey, Pauline being the mayor of the city.
Yeah.
There's something else from Odyssey. Oh, Toasterina, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I kind of thought at one point that we might see Mario toss his cap in a Cappy style. Obviously, he wouldn't be capturing an enemy, but I kind of thought we were going to see him throw his cap, but that didn't happen. But then Galaxy or not Galaxy, Sunshine got nothing.
And maybe
Not
it's
even
response to the voice and
Piantas.
think of the times. Yeah, sad. Initial thoughts. The Odyssey theme was one of the best musical themes in the movie. I love that. Secondly, yeah, I wish we had a little more now that you mention it. I know it's the black sheep of the Mario franchise, 3D Mario games, but there's still a good basis there. It's not like it was a panned game.
Yeah.
There could have been more. If that turns into a Super Mario Sunshine movie, I wouldn't hate it. It is so ridiculous, even by Mario standards, him being arrested
Yeah.
and put in court by the Piantas.
Because
Yeah.
Shadow Mario, who they couldn't tell was different than regular Mario, was painting graffiti all over the town. And what's Mario's
Mhm.
punishment? You must clean up our island. Okay. What?
If anything, the Piantas who go, I am a chuckster, and then throw you randomly into the abyss, committed a greater crime than Mario.
Mm.
It is so hammy and so funny though. Uh, make those first three movies you're talking about, and then have the fourth movie be Sunshine. Be like they went on vacation after defeating Bowser yet again,
Yeah.
and then Bowser shows up on vacation with them. It's like, hey,
Bowser Jr. appears just like, I'm gonna get you for Mama Peach. It's like, Mama Peach?
yeah,
What the fuck are you talking about? She's
yeah,
my mother, motherfucker, and I'm gonna get her back. It's like, what?
hmm hmm
You
yep,
are a child. What are you talking about?
yeah,
I don't think
yeah,
I don't think Peach could be your mother, biologically speaking. Uh
hmm
okay.
hmm then the fifth Mario movie is where it gets really weird because that's where Bowsette comes in.
Yes.
Yeah,
Bowsette and Bowletta. They're Bowser's
and
sisters.
excellent, excellent. I wonder if Toadette will ever be involved in these.
I don't know. I think if she does, I mean, it's either. I mean, if they want to give Toad a love interest, there's your easy pick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also kind of want to like, let's look at the first Thor movie. You know, at one point you're walking through this like hall of trophies, or maybe not the first Thor. I think it was in the first Thor, but then also in Ragnarok, because Hela pushes over the fake Infinity Gauntlet. I'm just thinking, just
Mm-hmm.
like what they could put in like a gallery of treasures for like Peach's Castle in the Mushroom Kingdom, and the Super Crown would have to be in there. You'd have to have the Super
Mm-hmm.
Crown in there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Totally, totally. What a time that brings us back to some references too in the movie. I think they have an antique shop in the Mushroom City
Yep, with the whistle
with
was there, and a lot of classic power
yep.
ups.
The hammer from Wrecking Crew was in there. Funny that they
Hmm.
had that when Wrecking Crew existed in Brooklyn. um, and of course, they had the little princesses in another castle bit with the Toad Guards.
Which we all
That's
knew as
when
soon as that Toad was about to say something smart. It's like, oh, we all know where this line is going.
uh-huh. Diddy Kong has the DK bongos in one scene,
I love that
which is
Great was
pretty
just like,
okay.
everybody calm the fuck down. One guy's still going, I'm talking to you, Diddy. It's like,
That was pretty great, and seeing Diddy. I mean,
yeah.
they designed all these Kongs. They have to use them for something else. Make the Donkey
Yeah.
Kong movie.
Make the
Yeah.
Donkey Kong movie.
Um, luck. Oh, apparently the opening sequence as well. Mario running through Brooklyn and sliding down the
Yeah, it
flag in
looked
front
like
of the
Road
castle.
1-1.
Yep. Very intentional. And apparently, towards the end of the movie, and I missed this, but I saw a reference list later after I watched the movie. There's a Hanafuda store
Oh,
in
yeah.
Brooklyn.
Yeah. I think it was like Lucky Cards is what it was.
Yeah, it was. It was.
So does that mean in
I
the
was.
next movie we'll see a hotel with a Nintendo sign over it? Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yes. And Napoleon will be there as well.
Yes. The actual Napoleon.
Mm-hmm. I. But yeah, to wrap up the movie, this movie, I loved it. If there were elements that it could have been maybe there's elements if you nitpick, you really think about it. It's like, yeah, it could have been a little better here or there. I would have trimmed this down, whatever. For what it is and what they granted us for the first time in our lives, what this represents, it was honestly amazing.
Yeah.
Which great. Yeah.
So great. Something else I want to point on with the references, when Mario and Peach were going on their the montage of locations that they were running through, they were doing it in classic Mario order: grassland, desertland, waterland, whatnot. Because these started with Bob 64. Actually, I don't know if it was strictly in order, but you were seeing those different themed worlds. Because Toaster was the desert world. They showed the bridge level from Mario World for their water level. It's like,
oh yeah,
sons of bitches.
Yeah.
Then the Sky World was there. It's like, oh my god, they're actually showing the different worlds that they're traveling through. I love that.
That was really cool. And while we're on that subject, I loved the modernized Bob on Battlefield. That was really nice to see.
Not that we really saw much of it, really. We saw the cannon and the island that you shoot yourself to. But still, just seeing that was like, Just the
Yeah, it's like
acknowledgement of it.
I know what that is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Where was King Womp, by the way? Did Bowser turn him into a bridge already?
I mean, probably.
Yep. Yep.
He's too busy getting stepped on.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. The future movie, though, perhaps.
Hmm.
That's
What?
the
King
that's
Womp
the
being
type.
stepped on? That's a feature movie?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Put it in an opening montage somewhere. Mario stomping on King Womp. There's your 64.
And then after Fade to Black, you see him walking out a door, just like leafing through some money. Like he got
Yes.
paid for that.
And then we get the Womp movie.
That's what we just had.
Yes.
Yes.
He was there the whole time in this movie. Just waiting for the.
Oh, you know what would have been a perfect post-credit scene? Just
Hmm.
like them showing like some celebration of whatnot, and then the camera pans back and moves around, and you just see a Lakitu holding a camera that was filming the entire movie. God damn it! Fuck!
that
I'm
would have
mad that
been
didn't
great.
happen now. All
Mm-hmm.
right, next movie we need something like that. Maybe it's like a Lakitu interviewing Mario or something. God damn it! Fuck! Ah, that would have been great. Would have been great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is a missed opportunity. But next time, because again, I mean, the amount of shit that they did put in this movie, including non-Mario stuff, is
Mm-hmm.
incredible. Like just
Yeah.
we talked about most of what I saw. But like yeah, like some stuff like Discoon, like what? Like
Yeah.
really?
Did not expect that to fucking be referenced.
Me either. Just crazy.
I think that's the most surprising reference of anything in the movie. The only other thing that comes close is just the fact that Duck Hunt got referenced 3 times.
Yeah.
I don't remember one of the times where I know I saw it 3 times. The ducks in the beginning, and then when they went to the plumbing house, there was a big photo of the Duck Hunt dog. But then there was some other
Mm-hmm.
moment in between those two where I think it was the ducks again. But I was just
Mm-hmm.
surprised, like
Mm-hmm.
Duck Hunt 3 times. Holy shit! Wow. Okay.
Hopefully this means Duck Hunt is getting a release on Switch soon. So that way we can play it
I
again.
honestly, it would make sense for the NES
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Yeah, it would. It would. And now there's currently not a way to play Duck Hunt on modern consoles since the Wii U
True.
eShop got shut down. Well, I'm trying to think of anything. Oh, the Ice Climbers poster at the end with the polar bear.
Oh yeah, I saw people mentioning that the polar bear was seen.
Mm-hmm. Ahead of its Smash Brothers debut, of course.
Hmm.
It's already on the Smashtopia wiki.
Oh. God, there's something else I wanted to go over.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll ask this because we're getting close to 2 hours at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So, I want you to ignore the post-credit scene for a moment here.
Okay.
What would be and ignore like likelihood of anything. I want you've been asked to come up with a pitch for a sequel movie. What do you want that sequel movie to be about?
Oh my gosh. Well, foregoing the thing you already said about Subcon and Wart, because I think that would be excellent, but I want to see something different. I think having some sort of gratification with the Yoshi tease in the next movie is probably the likeliest thing, to be honest. And so probably just feeding into that. I haven't really thought about how it would open though.
Ignoring you don't have to
Yeah.
use the Yoshi teeth if you don't want to.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay. Mario and Peach are celebrating their victory against Bowser. Maybe there's a scene mocking him at the beginning in his tiny form in the cage.
1 year anniversary.
1 year anniversary. When suddenly an emissary, Lady Lima from the Bean Bean Kingdom appears.
Twilix also said Superstar Saga. He was like, "Give me the
um,
Bean Bean Kingdom." It's like, that's a great choice. Never gonna fucking happen.
yep,
But I asked what you wanted, and it's a good answer.
yep.
I would say Wario
Yep.
and Waluigi. That would be what I would most want next, is Wario and Waluigi.
I would love to see both of them on the big screen.
Yeah.
Um, Validation for Waluigi fans, huh, Sakurai? Yeah, Piranha Plants got stepped on in this movie.
Just like Wump.
Yep, just like Womp. Every step of the way.
What do you think the odds are? So Nintendo has NES Online.
Mm-hmm.
Streaming is a big thing now with movies
Mm-hmm.
and shows. What do you think the odds are that Nintendo adds a streaming option of the Super Mario Brothers movie to the deluxe version of Nintendo Online?
Mm.
You can just
My
watch
first
the
thought
movie
was
on your Switch.
wasn't going to happen, but you know what? Let's say they're going to do it.
It
They'll
it def
do it.
it would definitely, if they did it, it would definitely be on the premium price. It's not going to be on the cheap version. No fucking way.
Definitely,
But
definitely.
I could
But
see it being a possibility. Like, they need to add incentives for people to upgrade, and adding Game Boy games in N64 or N64 already there. But adding Game Boy games like is a big step to that. But their other bonuses, I honestly don't feel like are
mhm,
worth it. But I could see this being like their way of trying to draw some more people to it. It's like, you can watch the Mario movie on the Switch if you pay for this.
mhm, mhm. Kind of like the little shorts they used to release on the 3DS, the Kid Icarus shorts and
Mm.
whatever, Pikmin shorts as well. Yeah, I mean that's at
I
first
mean,
it's like, oh, Nintendo's never done this before, but they've never made a movie before, and here we are.
they've put like DLC expansions into the NSO before, where if you have it, then you don't have
Hmm.
to buy the DLC because you have the subscription, so you just get it that way. Honestly, I think they need to do more things like that. Put more expansion
Hmm.
passes on the NSO, expensive track to get it, incentivize it. But then like being able to stream the Mario movie on Switch, I think would be a good way to do that too.
Yeah, now that you mention it, why can't I get the Engage DLC free? Anyway,
Or Xenoblade
anyway,
3.
yeah, that's right. Only Animal Crossing. Yeah, it's a little sparse. Yeah, put the movie on it. It would be easy. Illumination would be for it. They're like, yeah, let's make a deal and print more money. Um, it'll be several months down the line. I think maybe a couple months after it starts streaming elsewhere. But yeah, I think easy. If they can show it technically for free, with a subscription on Netflix or whatever, why not?
Right, exactly. Like if
Hmm.
Disney puts their stuff on Disney Plus, other companies put things on Netflix or whatever their other streaming services are. There's too many streaming services. Nintendo doesn't
Yep,
have one, but they also don't have a reason to have one at this point in time. But just using NSO for that, I think, would be a logical move.
agreed. Agreed. And it would be a good one. It'll give me an easy platform to watch it again on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Uh, Anything else we can milk out of this mushroom?
Well, there's one last question that I want to ask about Nintendo
Hmm.
movies, and I used the word
Yeah.
Nintendo and not Mario for a reason. If you got to choose one movie to be the next thing, non Mario, for them to make a movie out of, you only get one fucking choice. What do you want to be that movie? What's your non Mario or Mario adjacent movie wish?
Mm. You think on this for a second. The Legend of Zelda.
Would
Hmm.
you? Is there a particular game you want them to adapt, or just Zelda in general?
I would be okay with it being Zelda in general. I think a quote original unquote plot would not be the worst for a movie adaptation. Maybe play with the idea of the original game a little bit, since there you can keep it canon to the game while also fleshing it out so much because it was a Nintendo Entertainment System game. Um, Otherwise, if it were something with more of an established story, there are several that I think would work. A Link to the Past I think would make a great movie. Ocarina would. Um, Wind Waker would if you wanted to go with that style. Um, and I think that those are the three maybe main titles that would make a interesting entry point for the initial thing. Like Twilight Princess would be amazing. I just don't
But
know
not
why
as the
they
first
wouldn't get
movie.
that. Yeah. Skyward Sword actually would make a good first movie.
It would actually. When
Yeah, but I for my money, I would say if you want to hone it in on a specific game and not just say it's Zelda, uh, probably their best bet would be Ocarina.
Okay. So Zelda
Probably
is
so.
one like I think that's a popular choice for this. Honestly,
Hmm.
Zelda in my
Hmm.
mind, I think it's a difficult one to kind of go with because if you choose an established game, most games you have to scrunch, which would be very difficult to do. Like imagine Ocarina of Time having to be scrunched down into just a 2 hour or less movie.
Hmm. Hmm.
I have a hard
Hmm.
time picturing what they would end up doing for that. But
A Link to the
then,
Past would be better for that. Yeah.
mm,
Anyway.
but like the original Zelda, then just fleshing it out of or doing an original plot could work. My only fear with an original plot is fan reactions to that original plot. Video game movies don't tend to do well. Like even
Hmm.
the Mario,
Hmm.
this movie, the Mario movie, it's you could say it's relatively loosely based uh on just the original Super Mario Brothers game. You could say
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
it's the Super Mario Brothers game, but with a plot added to it and changes made. Because obviously, like you're not trying to rescue Peach. But
Yeah.
with Zelda, I think it's just harder. But I do think that's like
Yeah.
that's one that like a lot of people are gonna want. It's probably the most popular answer to this question. The only other one that I think might be as popular is honestly going to be my choice,
Metroid.
Metroid.
Yep.
I want now. I Metroid isn't like one of the big series for me. I'm not good at Metroid. I think they're great, but I'm not good at them. But the reason I say Metroid is because I think getting this like dark space thriller as a movie would be fucking incredible. A Metroid movie would essentially be Nintendo's Alien.
Hmm. Hmm.
You could
Hmm.
easily make it be just like Alien but Metroid, essentially. Like not like a direct comparison or whatnot, but they could take a lot of cues from those kinds of movies, and I think that make
Hmm.
Metroid work really fucking well. It's a space thriller.
Yeah. Yeah. Since the question was posed like what I would personally want, I said Zelda. What I think would be the best, objectively speaking, is Metroid.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, Zelda, there's a lot to pull from. Where you pull from or whatever you do, it's going to be under a microscope. It's going to be harder to pull off than Mario.
Yeah.
If a Zelda did happen, I would like to see it in a 2D classic anime style. A lot of people have floated like, oh, the Ghibli style would work well for Zelda.
I've seen that.
Obviously, I mean, there are elements that I think would be uncanny to otherwise say. Like, if you interview the designer for Breath of the Wild, if they didn't say Ghibli was an inspiration, I would be shocked. Um, so it's a hop, skip, and a jump. I would like that for a Zelda movie. For Metroid, I think live action is the way to go. Um,
Uh,
make it like a PG-13.
Live action or
Yeah.
that hard anime style with like all the
Hmm.
I don't know the words. I'm thinking it's like modern anime, not like how they were drawn in the 90s, but just like a
Hmm.
modern anime style. I think Metroid could work pretty well on.
Hmm. Hmm. I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Like
Let you do
hype,
some
like
wild movements with Ridley and whatever.
like fairly a fair level of detail to the anime, not something
Yeah.
softer. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Like Neon Genesis Evangelion, but not 90s
Yeah, like
style. Yeah.
heavy action anime.
Mm-hmm. I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, that'd be great. Either that or live action. It would, yeah, it would really work both ways. I think the reason why I'm gravitating towards live action, that could really be it for Nintendo. That could put them on the map potentially more than a
Yeah.
Mario movie would. Mm-hmm.
Well, only thing I'm not sure what will happen with that is the fact that I can't remember his phone name, like Chris, the guy from Illumination that helped work on the movie. I think it's him. He's on Nintendo's board of directors now, and I feel like if you're gonna have a guy from Illumination on your board of directors, you're probably just partnering with Illumination for most of your stuff. I would
Yeah.
guess. I feel like it'd be weird if for the second movie they were like, "Hey, DreamWorks, we want to use your style next for a
Mm-hmm.
movie,"
Mm-hmm.
and because then the Illumination guys just being be like, "We're right here. What
Yeah.
the fuck?"
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
fact of the matter is, Illumination style just doesn't work for a lot of their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It just wouldn't.
I think realistically, the next several movies will be Mario and Mario adjacent movies that are made by Illumination.
Yeah.
Uh, now through like 2030 will be that. Over time, and I think this is the benefit of Illumination being a child company to Universal, and Universal being Nintendo's primary partner. Universal makes live action movies all the time.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, yeah. So if Nintendo kind of milked this relationship with Illumination, said, "Okay, we made 5 Mario movies with you. Now we're going to jump to your parent company and make Metroid real quick," they'll probably be okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But it will require a massaging of the current relationship. Miyamoto needs to keep on slipping him some
Mushrooms.
mighty mushrooms. Yeah, and coaxing that relationship along. Which, I mean, I could tell the guy is having the time of his life. It's in the quality of this movie.
Yeah.
So I'm happy. I am happy for Miyamoto, and I'm happy that Miyamoto can create something we can all be happy about.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because he is a legend of our time and a hero to us personally. So bagging on him about Sticker Star all the time, it gets old. Even though
Yes.
there is
Hate
an
Sticker
element
Star.
where I'm like, I love you and I hate you.
You know what would be funny for us
You
to do
know?
someday?
No.
Let's play Sticker Star.
Oh my God! I thought Chugga Conroy was doing that so we didn't have to.
I mean, you're right.
Yeah.
If you're ever not sure about why people don't like Sticker Star, go look up Chugga Conroy on YouTube. ChuggaaConroy. He has, I think, only 3 parts so far, but he's essentially doing a let's play / review of Sticker Star with 1 chapter per episode, and it's going into pretty much everything in the game. He's covering, the parts that are good, but there are not many of those, and he's just like revealing pretty much everything about the game and why it is so bad. And that it's not even that it's just a bad Paper Mario game, it's just a bad game. It's a great watch. It's a great watch.
It is. Not a great game, but a great watch.
Yes.
Color Splash and Origami King may have been marginally better, but I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Marginally better is not saying anything when the bar was set so low.
On the fucking ground. Below, they dug a hole into the earth about 6 feet and then dropped the bar in there.
They dug a hole so deep that they found their way in another dimension where people evolve from dinosaurs and they hatch out of eggs as babies.
I would love for that to be referenced in the next Mario movie somehow.
I was looking out for it. It's like, are we going to have reference the original movie? Because I feel like I would have thrown something small in there, but I didn't see anything personally.
Maybe they just didn't want to,
I bet
step on
Miyamoto was scared of doing it. Like, we don't want to invite that bad juju. We already did it once.
Yep. Miyamoto and Koji Kondo were kings of this movie, and thank goodness Illumination let them direct what they needed to direct.
Yes.
I to cap this off, I will say I'm very happy that under Shuntaro Furukawa's name, they referenced Iwata.
Yes.
That this
Very
movie
unexpected.
was dedicated to him at the very end. And it was
Yes.
another moment where I was like, side-eyeing my sister, do not look at me. Do not look at me. Because that was the moment where I'm like, I don't want the lights to come on right now.
Yeah.
Because it was a emotional release to see this dedicated to him after it was such a good movie.
It was an emotional release, much like the sweet release of death that Luma Lee was searching for the entire time.
Yep. I was wondering if that would get old over time,
It didn't.
And then I was like, it was pretty entertaining, yeah. And it had the saxophone at the end too. So
I want to
all
make
good.
a spirit battle of Luma Lee based off of their portrayal in the movie. I want to do it so bad.
Luma Lee's character is going to have to try jumping off a cliff or something.
I have
in
some
Bowser's
thoughts.
Castle.
Yep.
Perfect.
Because I made that stage a while back.
You did. Now the ultimate test to make Mario movie iterations of each Mario character on the wiki. Yep.
No.
From the 1991 film. The Goomba. Bowser.
I mean, I could do a spirit battle of a couple things from the Mario movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure I could do something like Toad or I don't know what else.
As for this Mario's movie, just Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt himself.
I don't think I'm going to make a Chris Pratt anything on the wiki. Anyways, I think we've said all there really is to say about this movie. Boils down to, it was great. We loved it. We're looking forward to more. Chris Pratt was not as bad as we thought he was going to be. Would we have chosen him? No. But I think he did a fine job. Well, do I hope he kind of like gives it a little bit more oomph in the next one? Yes. But he was okay. He wasn't the abomination that we all feared. Next time on Supercast Brothers, it's Smashtopia. We're making a character. We mentioned the series that they were from earlier, real briefly. But I'll go ahead and repeat it. We're making an Animal Crossing character.
Yep.
You might think that there's an obvious choice, but you probably thought they were the obvious choice before Isabel got added. So, who the fuck knows?
It's those llamas, isn't it?
It is actually going to be Gracie.
Excellent.
It's going to be Gracie swapping out between Flick and both Able sisters together. And then the fourth option, I forget who we were deciding between. Was it Gulliver? I think it was Gulliver. Okay, yeah.
That's good, because I thought Flick was the most likely character to get in.
According to some people.
Yeah. Some people have interesting opinions.
This is true. Like, you think you're funny.
And I'm also going to play Yoshi's Story after this. It's Reputation. It's a good game.
Yoshi's Sound is better.
Is it?
Yes. No. All right. With that, we'll see you all next time. Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Yoshi.